The studio lights burn hot. The audience settles into their seats, electric with anticipation. It's May 23rd, 2005, and Harpo Studios in Chicago hums with the kind of energy that only comes when something truly extraordinary is about to unfold. They don't know it yet, but they are about to witness a moment that will echo through pop culture history for decades to come. A moment so bizarre, so utterly unexpected, that it will be replayed, dissected, and debated long after the cameras stop rolling. Oprah Winfrey, the undisputed queen of daytime television, stands backstage. She's done this thousands of times. Welcomed Hollywood's biggest names. Navigated sensitive topics with grace. Made grown men cry and hardened celebrities reveal their deepest secrets. But today, something feels different. Her guest is Tom Cruise, one of the most famous actors on planet Earth, riding high on the success of War of the Worlds. He's here to promote his film, sure, but there's something else in the air. Something uncontainable. The music swells. The crowd erupts. And Tom Cruise doesn't walk onto that stage. He explodes onto it. Before we go any further into this unbelievable story, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button for Prime Talk right now. Smash that like button because you're about to witness one of the most uncomfortable, most shocking moments in talk show history. Drop a comment and let me know if you've ever seen anything this wild on live television. Trust me, you're going to want to be part of this community when we break down these explosive celebrity moments. Now, let's get back to the chaos. From the instant Tom Cruise enters, something is off. His energy isn't just high. It's manic, feverish. He's wearing a dark suit, looking every bit the movie star, but his eyes have a gleam that suggests he's operating on a frequency the rest of the world can't quite access. Oprah greets him warmly, professionally, the way she's greeted 1,000 guests before. They embrace. The audience applauds. Everything seems normal. For about 30 seconds. Then Tom starts talking about Katie Holmes. Not casually. Not the way a man in a new relationship might mention his girlfriend in passing. He talks about her with an intensity that makes the air in the studio shift. His words come rapid fire, tumbling over each other in his eagerness to express what he's feeling. He's in love. Deeply, madly, completely in love. And he needs everyone, every single person in that studio and everyone watching at home, to understand the magnitude of this feeling. Oprah smiles. It's her professional smile, the one she uses when she's trying to gently steer a conversation back on track. She attempts to redirect. She asks about the movie, about his career, about anything other than Katie Holmes. But Tom won't be redirected. He can't be. It's as if he's found the one topic in the universe that matters and he's going to mine it until there's nothing left. The audience laughs. Nervously at first. They think it's charming. Sweet, even. Here's Tom Cruise, megastar, tough guy action hero, revealing his softer side. But as the minutes tick by, the laughter becomes uncertain. Uncomfortable. Because Tom isn't slowing down. If anything, he's accelerating. I'm in love, he declares, his voice rising with each word. Not just stating a fact, but proclaiming it like a man possessed. I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love. Oprah's smile tightens. Just slightly. Just enough that anyone who's watched her show for years can see it. She's losing control of her own interview, and she knows it. She tries again to ask about War of the Worlds. The movie he's supposed to be promoting. The reason he's theoretically sitting in that chair. Tom acknowledges the question with barely a nod before pivoting back to Katie. Always back to Katie. And then it happens. Tom Cruise stands up. The audience holds its breath. Oprah's eyes widen. For a fraction of a second, uncertainty flashes across her face. What is he doing? Where is he going? This isn't in any script. This isn't how interviews work. Guests sit. They talk. They laugh politely. They promote their projects. They don't stand up in the middle of a conversation and start pacing like caged animals. But Tom Cruise isn't following any script today. He moves to the edge of the stage, his movements jerky with barely contained energy. His gesturing wildly now, his hands cutting through the air as he tries to physically manifest the feelings he's describing. The camera operators scramble to keep up, adjusting their angles to capture this unexpected burst of kinetic energy. Oprah rises from her chair too, not quite sure what else to do. She's no longer the interviewer. She's become a spectator to her own show. She's an extraordinary woman, Tom says, and his voice cracks with emotion. Real emotion. Raw and unfiltered and utterly unmanageable. The audience doesn't know whether to cheer or stay silent. Some clap tentatively. Others sit frozen, watching this unfold with the kind of fascination usually reserved for car accidents. Oprah reaches for him, literally reaches out her hand as if she might physically guide him back to his seat, back to normalcy, back to the comfortable rhythms of a standard celebrity interview. Her voice carries a note of gentle pleading. Tom, let's sit down and talk about this. But Tom Cruise is beyond sitting down. He's beyond talking calmly. He's beyond anything that resembles a normal human interaction. What happens next will be replayed millions of times. It will be parodied on Saturday Night Live. It will be referenced in comedy routines for years. It will become the defining image of Tom Cruise in the public consciousness, eclipsing decades of blockbuster performances. Tom Cruise jumps on Oprah's couch. Not a small hop. Not a playful bounce. A full-bodied, arms raised, triumphant leap that sends him onto the furniture with the force of a man who has completely abandoned all concern for how any of this looks. He lands on the iconic cream-colored couch, pumps his fist in the air like he's just scored the winning touchdown in the Super Bowl of love. The studio erupts. Pure chaos. Some audience members scream. Others laugh hysterically. A few look genuinely alarmed. Oprah's face goes through an entire emotional journey in those seconds. Shock. Confusion. A desperate attempt to maintain the composure that has made her America's most trusted interviewer. She's the professional. She's the steady hand that has guided countless conversations through turbulent waters. But even she can't quite process what's happening on her own stage. Her mouth opens as if to say something, anything, that might restore order to this spiraling situation. But what do you say when one of the world's biggest movie stars is literally jumping on your furniture, proclaiming his love with the fervor of a revival preacher? Tom doesn't stop at one jump. He bounces again. And again. Each leap more emphatic than the last. He's not just on the couch now. He's conquered it. Claimed it. Transformed it from a piece of studio furniture into a monument to his uncontainable feelings. His arms thrust skyward with each bounce, his face flushed with an emotion so raw it's almost painful to witness. I love her, he shouts, and his voice carries across the studio with such intensity that it seems to physically push against the walls. The camera operators are working overtime now, swiveling and zooming to capture every angle of this madness. In the control room, producers are frantically making decisions. Do they cut to commercial? Do they let this play out? This is either a complete disaster or the most talked-about moment in daytime television history. Possibly both. Oprah tries to laugh it off. She lets out a chuckle that sounds just a bit too forced, too calculated. She's trying to treat it like a charming eccentricity, the kind of quirky behavior that famous people sometimes display when they are overcome with genuine emotion. But there's something in her eyes that the camera's catching close-up. A flicker of real concern. Of recognition that this has crossed an invisible line from endearing to alarming. Okay, she says, reaching up toward Tom on the couch. Her hands are outstretched in a gesture that's part invitation, part plea. Come on down now. Let's talk about this. But Tom Cruise is not coming down. Not yet. He drops to his knees on the couch cushions, bringing himself closer to Oprah's eye level, and grabs both of her hands. The physical contact is intense, almost aggressive in its enthusiasm. He pulls her toward him with such force that she stumbles slightly, caught off guard by the sheer physicality of his need to make her understand what he's feeling. You don't understand, he says, his eyes boring into hers with laser focus. This woman, Katie, she's incredible. She's everything. Everything. The audience has gone quiet now. The nervous laughter has dried up completely. What they are witnessing doesn't feel like entertainment anymore. It feels like something private, something that maybe shouldn't be happening in front of 300 strangers and millions of television viewers. There's an intimacy to Tom's desperation that makes people uncomfortable, like they are watching someone expose far more of themselves than is appropriate for the setting. Oprah gently tries to extract her hands from his grip. It's subtle, professional. She doesn't want to embarrass him, doesn't want to make this moment any more awkward than it already is. But Tom holds on, oblivious to or unconcerned with the social cues that would tell a normal person to dial it back. Tell me about Katie, Oprah says, attempting to channel this manic energy into something that resembles a coherent interview. If she can't stop the flood, maybe she can at least direct where it flows. When did you know you were in love? It's a reasonable question. A normal question. The kind of question that should produce a thoughtful, perhaps romantic answer. Instead, it unleashes another torrent of intensity. Tom finally releases Oprah's hands and leaps off the couch, pacing the stage like a panther in a cage. His movements are jerky, unpredictable. He runs his hands through his hair, gestures wildly at nothing in particular, his entire body a live wire of uncontrolled emotion. "From the moment I met her," he says, and his voice breaks. Actually breaks. There are tears forming in his eyes now, real tears, and the audience shifts uncomfortably in their seats. "From the very first moment. I knew. I just knew." Oprah nods, trying to appear supportive while simultaneously calculating how to regain control of her show. She's interviewed presidents and dealt with contentious political figures. She's navigated conversations about abuse, trauma, and scandal. But this particular brand of chaos is uniquely challenging because it's not coming from a place of malice or controversy. It's coming from what appears to be genuine, overwhelming emotion. How do you redirect someone who's convinced they're expressing the purest form of human feeling? "That's beautiful," Oprah says, and she means it to be encouraging, a verbal pat on the back before she steers toward safer territory. Love is a wonderful thing. Now, about War of the Worlds. Steven Spielberg directed this film, Anne. "I want to bring her out," Tom interrupts, not even acknowledging the attempted redirect. "I want everyone to meet her. Katie, come out here." And this is when Oprah's face truly reveals her internal panic. Because Katie Holmes appearing on stage wasn't planned. This wasn't discussed. There was no agreement that Tom's girlfriend would make an appearance during what was supposed to be a straightforward promotional interview. But Tom is calling for her anyway, and the audience is looking toward the wings expectantly, and Oprah has officially lost all control of her own show. Katie Holmes emerges from backstage, and the moment she appears, the entire dynamic shifts again. She's young, beautiful, and visibly uncomfortable. Her smile is tight, her body language screaming reluctance even as she walks toward the stage. She didn't sign up for this. She thought she'd maybe wave from backstage, maybe sit for a brief, controlled moment. She didn't anticipate being dragged into the center of this whirlwind. Tom rushes to her, grabbing her hand and pulling her toward center stage with the same uncontrollable enthusiasm he's displayed for everything else. Katie stumbles slightly in her heels, trying to keep up with his manic energy while maintaining some semblance of dignity. When they reach Oprah, Tom wraps his arm around Katie's waist, holding her so tightly it's almost possessive. "Isn't she amazing?" Tom asks Oprah, but he's not really asking. He's declaring, pronouncing. Katie stands there, her smile frozen on her face, looking like she wants to be absolutely anywhere else in the world. Oprah looks at Katie Holmes, and for a brief moment, their eyes meet. There's a flash of understanding between two women who both recognize they are trapped in a situation neither can control. Oprah's been in the business long enough to read people, and what she sees in Katie's face isn't the glow of a woman basking in her boyfriend's public adoration. It's the fixed expression of someone enduring a spotlight she never wanted, trying desperately to appear gracious while every instinct screams for escape. "Hi, Katie," Oprah says warmly, extending a lifeline of normalcy. "It's so nice to meet you. Tom has been telling us all about how wonderful you are." Katie's laugh is small, almost a nervous giggle. He's very enthusiastic, she manages, and there's a carefully measured quality to her words, as if she's terrified of saying the wrong thing or triggering another explosion of emotion from the man gripping her waist. Tom, oblivious to her discomfort or perhaps simply unable to contain himself regardless of it, pulls Katie closer. He kisses her, right there on stage, and it's not a gentle peck. It's deep, intense, performative. The audience doesn't know whether to applaud or look away. Some do both, clapping while averting their eyes from the intimacy that feels far too private for this public forum. When Tom finally breaks the kiss, Katie's face is flushed. She touches her hair self-consciously, smoothing it down, trying to regain her composure. But Tom isn't done. He never seems to be done. He turns to the audience, one arm still locked around Katie, and addresses them directly like a politician at a rally. "This is the woman I'm going to marry," he announces, and the certainty in his voice is absolute. Not might marry or hope to marry. Going to marry. It's a declaration of intent that leaves no room for doubt or discussion. Katie's eyes widen slightly. If this is news to her, she hides it well, but there's a microsecond of surprise that the cameras catch before her smile returns. The audience erupts in applause, because what else can they do? This is supposed to be a happy moment, a romantic proclamation. But there's something about the whole scene that feels off-kilter, like a proposal that's been staged without consulting the other person involved. Oprah tries once more to establish some structure. "Well, that's wonderful news. Katie, how does it feel to have Tom so openly in love with you?" It's a softball question, an easy opportunity for Katie to say something sweet and romantic. Instead, she seems to struggle for words. He's incredible. I've always admired his work, and now getting to know him as a person, it's been. Tom cuts her off, unable to let anyone else control the narrative even for a moment. She's perfect, Oprah. Absolutely perfect. And I'm going to take care of her. I'm going to protect her and love her and give her everything she deserves. There's something almost aggressive in his protectiveness, a possessiveness that makes the declaration sound less like a promise and more like a claim. Katie nods along, her smile never wavering, but her eyes tell a different story. They are the eyes of someone who's learned to perform, to present the image that's expected while whatever she's really feeling stays locked safely away. Oprah glances at her producer off camera, a quick flick of her eyes that communicates volumes. How much longer? Can we wrap this? What are we doing here? But the cameras are still rolling, and Tom Cruise is still center stage, still radiating an energy that refuses to be contained or controlled. Let's sit down, Oprah suggests again, her voice carrying just a hint of desperation now. Please, both of you, let's sit and talk. This time, miraculously, Tom complies. He guides Katie to the couch, the same couch he was jumping on minutes earlier, and they settle onto it together. But even seated, Tom can't be still. His leg bounces. His hands gesture. He keeps touching Katie, her hand, her arm, her shoulder, as if he needs constant physical confirmation that she's real and present. Oprah settles into her chair across from them, and you can see the relief wash over her face. Finally, structure. Finally, a return to the familiar format of interviewer and interviewees seated and conversing like civilized people. She takes a breath, prepares to ask about the movie again, to salvage some promotional value from this chaos. But Tom leans forward, his intensity undiminished by sitting. You know what the best part is, Oprah? The best part is that I get to share this with everyone. I don't have to hide how I feel. I can just be open and honest about this incredible love. And there it is. The word that's been lurking under everything, hiding. There's a subtext here that the audience doesn't fully understand. Layers of meaning related to Tom's beliefs, his public image, the rumors that have followed him for years. This display isn't just about love. It's about proving something, demonstrating something, performing a version of heterosexual romance so extreme and so public that it can't be questioned or doubted. Oprah nods slowly. She's too smart not to recognize the undercurrents, but she's also too professional to poke at them. Authenticity is important, she says carefully. Being true to yourself and your feelings. Exactly. Tom nearly shouts, pointing at her as if she's just articulated something profound. Exactly. That's what this is. Pure authenticity. Pure love. No games, no pretense, just raw, honest feeling. Katie sits beside him, still smiling, still playing her part. When Oprah tries to engage her directly, asking about her career, her own projects, her thoughts on anything beyond Tom, her answers are brief, almost rehearsed. It's clear who dominates this relationship, who controls the narrative. Tom fills every silence, answers questions directed at Katie, speaks for both of them as if they're a single unit rather than two separate people. The interview continues for another 15 minutes, though it feels like hours. Oprah gamely tries to discuss War of the Worlds, and Tom gives perfunctory answers between proclamations of love. The audience watches, transfixed and uncomfortable in equal measure. This isn't entertainment in the traditional sense. It's spectacle. It's a car crash in slow motion. Finally, mercifully, Oprah brings the segment to a close. The closing music begins to swell, and Oprah extends her hand to Tom and Katie with a smile that's equal parts gracious host and exhausted survivor. Tom pumps her hand enthusiastically, pulling her into another hug that lifts her slightly off her feet. Katie offers a more subdued goodbye, her relief at the interview's end visible in the slight relaxation of her shoulders. As they exit the stage, Tom's arm remains locked around Katie's waist, guiding her, controlling her movement even in departure. The moment they disappear into the wings, the audience sits in stunned silence for a beat before erupting into confused applause. They are not entirely sure what they just witnessed, but they know it was something. The woman sitting in seat 14C will later tell reporters that she turned to her friend and whispered, "Did that really just happen?" Her friend had no answer. Backstage, producers and staff exchange wide-eyed glances. Some are laughing, the kind of nervous laughter that follows a near-miss accident. Others look genuinely shaken. One production assistant will later admit that she thought about calling someone, though she couldn't articulate who or why. The entire thing had felt that uncomfortable, that intrusive, like watching something that should have remained private. Oprah returns to her dressing room and closes the door. For a long moment, she just stands there, processing. In her decades of broadcasting, she's seen it all. But this was different. This wasn't someone breaking down or breaking through. This was someone breaking free from the constraints of acceptable public behavior, and she'd been powerless to stop it. Her producer knocks gently. "That was something," he says. Oprah laughs, but it's a tired sound. "That was Tom Cruise jumping on my couch," she replies. "And I have no idea what we just put on television." What they put on television, it turns out, is a cultural earthquake. The episode airs, and within hours, the phones at Harpo Studios are ringing off the hook. The reactions are immediate and polarized. Some viewers find it charming, a refreshing display of genuine emotion in a world of calculated celebrity appearances. But far more find it disturbing, uncomfortable, wrong in ways they can't quite articulate but feel deeply in their guts. The internet, still in its relative infancy in 2005, explodes with discussion. YouTube has just launched months earlier, and clips of the couch jump become some of the platform's first viral sensations. People watch it once, twice, 10 times, trying to make sense of what they are seeing. The freeze frame of Tom mid-jump, fist raised, becomes an instant meme before the word meme has fully entered common usage. Entertainment journalists scramble to analyze the moment. Was it genuine passion or calculated publicity? A mental breakdown or a marketing strategy? The consensus settles somewhere uncomfortable. It was real, and that realness was precisely what made it so unsettling. Tom Cruise had revealed something, intentionally or not, and America wasn't sure it liked what it saw. The late-night talk shows have a field day. Jay Leno jokes about buying couch insurance before his next celebrity interview. David Letterman does a top 10 list of other things Tom Cruise jumped on. Saturday Night Live creates a sketch where every guest on every talk show starts jumping on furniture, turning it into an epidemic of couch-jumping madness. The parodies multiply, each one embedding the moment deeper into the cultural consciousness. But beneath the jokes, there's a shift happening in how America views Tom Cruise. For decades, he'd been the consummate movie star, controlled and charismatic, his public image carefully managed and maintained. The couch jump shattered that image. It revealed something uncontrolled, something manic, something that made people question everything they thought they knew about him. Industry insiders whisper. Tom's publicist works overtime trying to manage the fallout, but you can't ring a bell this loud. Studios watch nervously as his carefully cultivated image crumbles in real time. War of the Worlds still performs well at the box office, riding on Spielberg's reputation and summer movie momentum, but there's a new wariness around the Tom Cruise brand. Katie Holmes largely disappears from public view in the immediate aftermath. When she does give interviews in the following weeks, she's asked repeatedly about that Oprah appearance. Her answers are carefully neutral, supportive but vague. She talks about love and happiness while her eyes reveal nothing. The relationship continues, leading to engagement, marriage, and a daughter named Sui. But the seeds of its eventual dissolution are arguably planted on that Oprah stage, in that moment when the world watched her be overwhelmed by someone else's uncontrollable intensity. Oprah herself reflects on the interview in later years with a mixture of bemusement and discomfort. She describes trying to maintain control while watching it spiral away from her. She talks about the moment with humor, but there's always an undercurrent of something else. Recognition, perhaps, that she'd witnessed something significant, a crack in the facade of celebrity that revealed the strange pressures and peculiar psychology that exists behind the glamour. The couch jump becomes a reference point, a cultural shorthand for celebrity behavior gone off the rails. When other famous people have public moments of unscripted emotion or erratic behavior, comparisons are inevitably made. It's their couch-jumping moment, people say, and everyone knows exactly what that means. Years later, Tom Cruise himself will address the incident with regret, acknowledging that his behavior was excessive, that he let his enthusiasm override his judgment. But the damage, if you can call it that, is permanent. The image of him jumping on that couch, arms raised in manic celebration, is seared into the collective memory of anyone who witnessed it. What happened on Oprah's stage on May 23, 2005, wasn't just a celebrity having an enthusiastic moment. It was a crack in the carefully constructed world of managed celebrity, a glimpse behind the curtain at something raw and uncontrolled. It was uncomfortable because it was real, and reality in the world of polished celebrity appearances is often the most shocking thing of all. So what do you think? Was Tom Cruise's couch jump a genuine expression of love or something more complex? Have you ever witnessed a celebrity moment that made you this uncomfortable? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want more explosive, dramatic, and unbelievable celebrity stories broken down with this level of detail, you need to subscribe to Prime Talk right now. Hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and join our community of people who aren't afraid to dive deep into the moments that define pop culture. Because trust me, we're just getting started, and you won't want to miss what's coming next.